Oh boy. Okay, we are back out in the shop. It's been a while since we had you guys out here. The other night you got to see us put this in the shop, but we didn't really do any work. Today, I hope this works out well. We're gonna jump into this. We're gonna get the wiring harness all sorted out here on the floor. You got cameras going over there. We're gonna bring you guys over with a tripod. See, tripod. And you can sit down here with me and we can sort out this wiring harness together. Sound like fun? I didn't think so. This is the worst part. Are you guys getting sick? This is the worst part of a new project. And no, I don't mean the moving of the cameras. This is just creator life. You guys come on down here. We're literally gonna sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce. Oh boy. That looks incredibly bad. This just keeps getting worse. All of this stuff is tied in a freaking knot. Hey look, they actually used a zip tie on that one. They didn't use a zip tie on any of that stuff. That's an O2 sensor, which our exhaust doesn't have. Vehicle speed sensor, which our vehicle doesn't have. Battery. Vehicle doesn't have a battery either. We're gonna have to find a home for that. 2 alternator. Okay. Oh, this is a mess. Oh, great. You gave me a whole bunch of really long wires to work with here. 1.5 inch long. ECU to vehicle speed sensor. VDO 0 to 80 PSI. Hey, look at that. Spare to... I have no idea what that says. Ignition to starter. Spare to dash. Spare for what? Oh man, this guy cut all these wires really short. A2W pump. I don't know what the hell that is. This is wastegate solenoid not used, so this one also came back and plugged in here.
Well, I wonder if it was used on the other car that it came out of originally.
Well, I'm sure all this stuff was. I'm sure all this is sensors that were, because this came out of a legacy wagon.
Yeah, and he just took that plate that's already got all of that stuff mounted to it.
But why wouldn't you eliminate that? Can I eliminate that? Can I eliminate all of this out of the harness and everything? I'll take it, I'll chase it all the way back and bob it off at the ECU and get rid of 3/4 of this wire that's right here.
Well, I'm wondering if the computer has to see it to work.
Maybe.
Even though it's not used, maybe the computer has to see that it's there in line.
Possible. I don't know. All right. After a couple hours of beating our heads against the wall, we've decided we really need the wiring diagram for this thing. There's a bunch of wires that don't go anywhere. There's a bunch of things that I think we need to eliminate. And there is also a bunch of this stuff that is just tied in together, and it's making it so we can't even straighten this harness out to figure it out. I can't believe anybody ran this inside of a vehicle, but they swear to us that it came out of a running car. Shannon called, I gotta run to Costco with her, so we're gonna cut it while it's light outside and wait to save our sanity until we have the wiring diagram. I'm hoping that some of that can be eliminated or shortened up or something, because that's a pretty small car with a really small engine compartment to have 75 feet of wire wadded up in it. So we're gonna see if we can make this harness a little better. Pop and I are gonna get on out of here. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with you shortly. Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. We are still on this guy. I got some clarification over the last couple days about this mess. Turns out that the guy that did the original install in his car just piled all that stuff right here. We're not going to do that. I can't, in good conscience, do a big pile of wires with a bunch of zip ties. So we're going to end up cutting into that harness, getting that all squared away. But I think first we're going to figure out where we're going to mount this ECU, get a good plan going with that, and then get on to shortening that harness up and cleaning everything up. You can see the engine as you can see, the engine compartment isn't all cluttered up, and I don't think that it would be in our best interest, and I just can't do it, to just build an ugly mess out of this. So we're gonna spend some time hacking and cutting and figuring out the best way to shorten that harness up and clean everything up. We're gonna throw up some cameras here for you and see if we can't figure out where to put this ECU in first thing. Here we go. Okay, so the top goes in here. Little latches stick down into these pockets, so we don't want to give up those. We need to find, this is a rear strut tower, so we don't really want to be directly into that. There's a little light here. I'd like to keep that light if possible. It'd be a nice little trunk light. This is a double wall piece here. It seems to be single walled up here, so we could potentially bring our wires through up here. That ECU might fit nicely right there. I think we'll have plenty of wire. If not, we'll stretch out some wires a little farther. That's all original Porsche wiring, so I don't think that's going to be an issue for us. Most of that's going to go away, I think. There was some question the other night about these hoses. These are all coolant accumulator tanks, and it looks like most of this stuff was just mounted to the firewall. So we'll find the real homes for that. Some of this stuff is tied around up and in, and I don't think it needs to be wherever the credit's at. That hose right there, I don't even know where that goes. It's just hanging out here, not attached to anything. Well, that hose is attached to that. What's it say? It's got a writing on it. It says, to wastegate solenoid, plug not used. So we don't even need it. So why would you have all that mess in there? This is a big hoop-de-loop. We're gonna have to pull out some pictures. This guy sent us some pictures so we can see what exactly is going on here. Oh my. It's underneath the car right here. You can't see it. Nothing. There's nothing there. What do you guys think? Think we should put the ECU right here? Let's put some tape down, make some marks, and then we can figure out where we're going to put our ECU. The only reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to push down on the ECU and have it make marks on my tape. And I tried just giving it to scratch the paint, but it didn't want to do it. So I'm thinking we do that. Okay, I think we just mount the ECU right there. I don't know if it's right or not, but I think it's where we're going to go with it. Quarter-inch washers. We'll just snug these on right quick. Let me grab some sockets. Believe it or not, the car hasn't been unloaded since the Utah trip. And we're getting ready to leave again. We gotta figure out how many wires out of this disaster we really are gonna have to push through that firewall. We know everything from this connector. Hey, you, come here. Hey, you, talking to you. So we know all these yellow connectors have to come in here. Problem is I got to figure out
Which ones we gotta delete?
everything that needs to be deleted, and I am right now trying to come up with a good strategy for. I got the ECU mounted. It'll live right here. This is a nice safe spot for it. It's tucked back up in here, so it's mounted. I just have 2 quick screws on it because that's what was attached to it. I think most of this crud on this plate is getting deleted. This needs to stay. So this is the, no, this is the ignition.
Oh,
But I don't believe any of this stuff is needed any longer. So all this, the blow-off valve stuff,
yeah.
I think got eliminated by that guy. But apparently this build went through a couple different iterations.
Yeah.
And when he originally did it, it utilized the actual blow-off valve from the Subaru. And so it then required that all of this stuff to be on there. Now it has a mechanical wastegate on it, and it just uses spring pressure. So everything except for this can go. But that also means that in order to do that, I've got to cut a bunch of stuff out of this harness,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's just, it's a little more cumbersome because I have to go through and figure out exactly which things can be cut out and which things can't. And then I'm thinking about putting in a some bulkhead connectors, maybe cutting a couple of these out because these are dual walled, and then putting a bulkhead connector inside of the engine bay with a plug-in with a Deutsch Tech type connector on the inside so that everything is isolated, because if not, then I have to find some sort of a gland fitting for the pass-through. The guy that did it before took this cup and just pulled this cup out, but this cup is where the latch for the top goes whenever you take the top off and stow it. Top goes in here, and the latches that go on the front go down in here, and then the rear of the top pops into these deals, and then you can close the trunk lid over the top of it. Phil wants to maintain those, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. Hey, we made some progress tonight. We're gonna get on out of here. It's late. We're gonna go in and have us some dinner. We'll be back on this. I'm gonna print out some schematics and find out what we can rip out and what we gotta keep. And we'll get back on this in a day or so. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.